Since Lewis Carroll first penned the character of the White Rabbit in 1865, it's been loved as a bringer of imagination and exploration. Not exploitation, there's a difference. Then it became a pop culture reference with its iconic use in The Matrix back in 1999, and wow, I'm feeling old that it was that long ago. We've already seen it teased in the trailer for the upcoming sequel, The Matrix Resurrections, due out in April. So why would I talk to you about following the White Rabbit? Well, guys, we're not talking about drugs or anything like that. No, it's time to go to Wonderland because chances are, just like Alice, you forgot how to get there. So let's get into it. Be better tomorrow because of what you do today. Welcome to the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for all things man, husband, and father. Guys, we provide content to help men reach their full potential and become the men they want to be. My name is Brent, and I am the Fallible Man. And if you believe what we're doing here and you want to be a part of it, we would love to have your support. You can head over to Patreon directly, or you can buy me a coffee. Either way, there's links in the description and in our show notes. Guys, our regular supporters have direct input on our content, and that support helps us make this content possible. If not, that's fine. I love that you're here anyways, and I'm grateful that you're taking some time with me today. One of the biggest problems with growing up and becoming an adult is that our perspective and perceptions change. Now, that's only a real problem if you forget and lose touch with your prior perceptions and perspectives as well. Adulting, as has become popularly called in pop culture, leaves little room for positivity, creativity, belief in the possibility, or in the impossible. And on today's show, we're going to talk about why you should regain some of that childlike wonder that you had once upon a time and what it can do for you as an adult, guys. Now, this seems like a weird topic, I'm sure. Okay, I won't pretend that I picked a really normal sounding idea, but you know, it wouldn't be me if I did. I try not to be too predictable. But guys, as adults, we've lost Wonderland. We've been inundated with society and stress and politics and reality and adulting. I don't know where that word came from. I kind of think it's kind of stupid, but you know, we've become just burdened with everything that is reality. The real world, Brent. It's the real world we have to be in. The real world kind of sucks sometimes then, huh? We lose our way to Wonderland like Alice did because we stop believing. We stop seeing possibility. We stop seeing what could be. And guys, there's a lot of value to that. Now, it's not just if you're a parent. There's a lot of value to it as a parent. There's a lot of value to it as a person in a relationship. There's a lot of value in it in your work life. You just may not realize that. Guys, don't let the world weigh you down so much. Don't let... I get it. We all have jobs. We all have bills. It's been a rough year and a half or two, whatever is going on now. Let's face it, 2020 sucked and 2021 has only been a little bit better or worse, depending on how you look at it. So I get it. The world weighs you down. And so holding on to childlike wonder and holding on to imagination and hope. Some of the things that I just wrapped up shooting, I just wrapped up doing my live stream, Manly Mondays. And if you haven't been on Manly Mondays for our live stream, guys, come and join us every Monday at 5 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook, guys. I love interacting with you and getting to know you and getting to actually do stuff live with you. Join the community and come be a part of Manly Mondays. If you're watching the video, I'll hold up my Manly Mondays cup, even though I'm doing my podcast. But guys, I just wrapped up recording Manly Mondays, and we were talking about parenting, and one of the things that parents sometimes lose with their kids is that imagination, right? We see it with our children all the time. They're light, and you're envious as a parent at how innocently they see the world, at how unburdened they are by reality. Well, guys, that's the downside of adulting, is a lot of times we lose that. but I want to say you don't have to. And I think it's going to be better for you as a man, as a husband, as a father, as an employee, as an employer. I think it helps every aspect of your life to come back to a little bit of wonder and creativity in your world. We can't lose Wonderland and forget about it. It was part of your world, and at one point it was easier to see. So that's the downside of adulting, is wonder is lost. We lost our way. I get it. You have to take on more responsibility and other things as an adult. But you can't lose your awe entirely. And I think that happens to us way too often as adults. Second thing I want you to consider is that the best people in the world are a little mad. It's one of my favorite lines in Alice in Wonderland is when the Mad Hatter asks Alice, at least in the movie variation of it, Alice, have I gone mad? And she says, yes, you're bonkers, you're totally gone. But let me tell you a secret. The best people are. Guys, the most interesting and innovative and creative people in the world, the people who changed history, were seen as crazy at some point. Now, I want to suggest to you they're not crazy. They just didn't stop dreaming. They didn't stop seeing hope. They didn't stop seeing a bright future. They didn't stop seeing the world of possibilities. They looked at the world with wonder and awe and imagined what could be done. They saw something bigger, something brighter outside of the normal everyday. They saw something extraordinary where a lot of us see the ordinary. Because of that perspective and perception, they were able to go farther and do things that most people never thought were possible. Think about it. The Wright Brothers, everybody thought they were crazy, but yet they flew. They were the first, well, almost the first people to do it. Da Vinci built a glider and designed a helicopter, but there's no evidence that I'm aware of, and someone correct me if I'm wrong. Please comment on this show if I'm wrong, but there's no record of it being flown. But all of our aeronautics, in computer programs have proven that it could have. But everybody thought the Wright brothers were nuts. What about Amelia Earhart? Now everybody remembers that she crashed and disappeared. Well, let me rephrase that. We don't know that she crashed. We know she disappeared. But before that, she had flown flights that most people had never dreamed of. And people thought she was mad. What about Einstein and that freaky hairdo? Everybody thought he was crazy. Some of his theories took a lifetime to prove for him. And they turned out being true. And most people just saw him as slightly nuts. Guys, what about Elon Musk? What about the Gates of the world? What about the Steve Jobs of the world? These people whose names you know. What about The Rock? I'm a Dwayne Johnson fan, guys. You can think whatever you want. I don't care what your opinion is on it. You don't have to like my opinion on it, but I like the guy, but I'm impressed more with his story. I'm impressed with the fact that one day he realized he was at a point where he had to move forward and turn things around or everything was over. Right? He hit a break point. Guys, I promise when he was almost destitute, people thought he was crazy when he said he'd be famous. When he said that he'd be rich. When he said that he would make it. People thought he was nuts because he was all but broke and destitute. $7. That's why his production company is called $7 Production. That's what he had in his wallet. He dreamed bigger. So maybe the best people are a little mad, but they're not really mad. They're just the dreamers. They're the ones who saw something that we couldn't see because we've been beaten down and worn down by reality, by adulting, by being told it can't be done. I often wonder about our education system sometimes. How much could be accomplished if we didn't tell kids it couldn't be done? How many things are stopped because we told kids that's the way they are? Right? No one believed you could run a 4-minute mile until somebody did it. Because everybody said it couldn't be done until one guy said, I think it can, and I'm going to. No one thought it was possible. He was crazy until he did it and changed the world of running. And then not long after that, more people did it because the veil had been pierced and he wasn't crazy. They were just listening to the wrong people at the time. Now, guys, if you're getting anything out of this, be sure and give us a like, a thumbs up wherever you are. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts if you're getting something out of this. It really helps us. Subscribe and share our content. Do all the good social media things. I have to throw that in here at least once because otherwise you probably won't do it. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. Hit the little bell icon if you want to be notified when I release videos. I do 3 videos a week on YouTube. My live stream, my podcast, and one other video. And let's get back into it because it's time to go down the rabbit hole, guys. That's right. We're going down the rabbit hole. And when I say go down the rabbit hole, it really means, how do you start dreaming? How do you go back down? Alice followed the white rabbit, right? That's the way the story goes. We all know that part of that story. Alice followed the white rabbit. And what happened? She tumbled down the rabbit hole. Went on forever and ever and ever. Guys, we got to get back down the rabbit hole. It's time to start dreaming again. You have to stop believing in all the limitations that everybody else puts on your life. Do you have a dream? Do you have something that you imagine being able to do as a man? Do you want to build your own business? Do you want to become a professional driver? What do you want to do to change your life for the better? Do you want to be the best father in the world? Do you want to be the best husband possible? Maybe you just want to be a speaker. Maybe you want to write a book. How many books out there haven't been written because people said you can't do it? Guys, you have to start dreaming again. You have to start imagining a world with less limitations. Now, if you're a Matrix fan, and I definitely dated myself with a Matrix reference, thank goodness that the Resurrections is coming up, so it's relevant again, and I can talk about the Matrix again now, because it was one of the most brilliant movies ever. But what did they tell him when they're getting him, after they got him out of the Matrix? They said, you have to stop believing the limitations when you're in the construct, right? When him and the famous scene where Neo is fighting against Orpheus, and Orpheus is like, do you really believe that's air you're breathing as they're in this construct, right? He was taking away the limitations. He was taking away the invisible barriers that were holding Neo back. Just like that, you need to start taking away the invisible barriers that are holding you down. All of the haters, all of the doubters, all of the naysayers who say, you can't do it. Oh no, you're a street sweeper. You're a security guard. You're just a construction worker. You'll never stop. Stop there. Start dreaming again. Stop listening to the people and get rid of the people in your life who are pulling you down. In some of our other episodes, we've talked about the fact that you have to be very selective about who's in your life. And sometimes you have to get rid of the negative, guys. That is so important because those people are keeping you from moving forward and becoming and reaching everything you dream of, because they keep telling you can't. And because they're close to you, because they're around you, because they're in your immediate world, you believe them. Because society says, no, this is the way it works. You don't question it. I'm telling you, you got to question now, guys. Not everything you hear is wrong, but you have to question. I was highly disturbed. I saw a news story that ran, and CNN said, don't question things yourself. That's the way misinformation is spread. Don't research things yourself. Don't do your own research. That's how misinformation is spread. Now, I'm not going to go into the context of that because you know what it is, but it is the most retarded thing I've heard in my life. That's the stupidest thing anybody could say. don't question it yourself, that is the sound of people who don't want you to reach what you can reach. They don't want you going back down the rabbit hole. They don't want to pierce the veil. I'm using a lot of metaphors here. They don't want you to see past the matrix, guys. Get those people out of your life. And that can be painful sometimes because that can be loved ones. Get those people out of your life. Start dreaming again. If you want to be a writer, write a book. If you want to ascend to a better job, ascend to a better job. Guys, I was a construction worker and then I got into IT. Okay? They're very different things, but guess what? I made the jump, and you too can too if that's what you want to do. Pick what you want to do and start chasing those dreams again. I have ambitions to being a great father. I work every day at it. Why? Because I don't accept the limitations that there's only so much I can do as a father. No. I think I can do way more than some people think you should as a dad. Nope. No barriers. That's why you see guys in tutus and drinking tea at tea parties. Because no limitations as dad. We can do it. Now guys, we're going to roll to our show sponsors. We'll be right back with the rest of the show.
Today's episode brought to you by thefallibleman.com. That's right, it's us. Head over to www.thefallibleman.com and check out our blog, updated twice a week with new content and links to all of our social media offerings. Tag or search us at The Fallible Man or at Fallible Man on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social medias for daily content. While you're there, check out our attitude swag, shirts, cups, stickers, and more. Again, that's www.thefallibleman.com.
And we're back, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging around. And if you missed part of the show, you need to go back, or the rest of this is really not going to make any sense. But guys, we're going to keep going, because once you've made it back through the rabbit hole, once you've taken that tumble and gone back to Wonderland, the first thing you need to do is have some tea. Maybe not literally, or maybe literally, I don't know. The first thing you need to do is sit down with other people who are like-minded. You need to find and surround yourself with a group of people, like-minded individuals, people who don't believe in all the limitations that are placed on people. You have been taught, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracist or a conspiracy theorist person, guys, but you've been taught your whole life that there are certain things that you can do, that you are bound by certain things, that you will only ever amount to certain things. You've had limitations put on your whole life, not necessarily out of, people trying to be evil or people trying to trick you or any giant conspiracy. No, you just are surrounded by other people who, for the most part, see the same thing. Okay? They think that because that's what they were told. That's the way they were raised. All of us are raised within the limitations that were set before us. They were raised the limitations that were taught to our parents. We're raised by the limitations that were taught to the people who taught us. And so once you hit Wonderland, guys, you need to find like-minded individuals. You need to surround yourself with other people who see a bigger vision, who are willing to dream and chase that dream. You want to start a business? Find other people who are starting businesses. Find other people who are in business to help mentor you. You want to write a book? Talk to other people who write. Find other people who actively write. You want to get a better job, right? You want to grow into a better job? Fine. Surround yourself by people who do that job or more. Find other people who are escaping the limitations that have been put on them or they have put on themselves, and surround yourself with those people. Bask in that time, guys. Like I said, maybe you drink tea, maybe you start drinking coffee, maybe you drink energy drinks, whatever you drink. I drink all of the above. So hey, I'm good for a cup of coffee anytime. But guys, take the time, dwell among them. I know that's an old word, right? That's an old Bible word. But guys, dwell among like-minded individuals, people who have said, this may be where I'm at now. 2 years from now, I'm going to be a YouTuber. 2 years from now, I'm going to have a best-selling author or a best-selling book. 2 years from now, I'm going to run my own company. 2 years from now, I'm going to be making X amount a year. 2 years from now, I'm going to have built this house that I've wanted to build for years. surround yourself with those people who are actually following through with that, because that will help you follow through and get creative. I'm not even talking about just chasing your dreams that way, guys. Get creative with your thinking, because people who are trying to get out of that mold, who are trying to find their way to their dreams, have to think more creatively. You have to think more actively. You have to look for a different way around. There was a show several years ago called Big Hero 6. And in the show at one point, this child genius is sitting there and he's just hit a wall with his idea, right? And he's like, I'm done. It's over. I'm just stumped. And his older brother is like, oh man, washed up at like 13, like your life's over. And then he picks him up and throws him over his shoulder and hangs him by his ankles over his shoulders. Starts bouncing up and down. And his little brother's going, what are you doing? It's like changing your perception. Change the way you look at the problem. Change your view, guys. You need to start changing your perception. If you look to solve the problems in your life the way you always have, you're going to get the same exact results. If you start getting creative about the solution, then you'll find another way around. I ran into a personal situation the other day, and I had someone tell me, he was like, well, the only option you have is this. And it was a bad situation, and I didn't have a whole lot of options. And this person kept telling me, he's like, this is your only option. I'm like, no, that's one option. No, this is realistically the only option. Okay, thanks for your input, but I see it a different way. Guess what? I didn't go through with his option. I picked the option that worked best for me, and that changed things for me. It worked the situation out as best as it could and as best as it could for me. But it's not the obvious option. It wasn't the most obvious option, because I've learned to try and look at things from a different perspective and find a more creative solution or a different solution than the foregone conclusion that a lot of people do. Ooh, and if you're watching the video, you're seeing this fly buzz around and drive me nuts. So if I move away from the microphone, I'm shooing flies. Sorry, guys. But guys, surround yourself with other creative minds. Surround yourself with your children. Your children are so creative naturally. Let it rub off on you. Surround yourself with people who think differently. Spend some time having some tea with them. Now, guys, I want you to follow the white rabbit. Not everybody understands the significance of the white rabbit and what it actually means in Lewis Carroll's book, nor really in The Matrix. But the white rabbit really signifies something out of the ordinary, something momentarily misplaced out of the normal picture, right? When Alice encounters the white rabbit, she encounters it and notices automatically because it doesn't fit in her world. It doesn't fit with her reality at all, which is why she freaks out and chases the white rabbit, because this thing does not belong here. This is totally out of the picture. This is not how it works. And guys, that's what I want to challenge you to do, is don't be afraid to follow the white rabbit. Sometimes the most extraordinary things happen and we just dismiss it out of hand. We're so used to dismissing the extraordinary that sometimes we absolutely miss the amazing right in front of us. Guys, people who see the world with more wonder have happier lives. They reach their goals. Let the extraordinary grab your attention. Don't be afraid to look at the out of the ordinary and go, I wonder. I think maybe I can do this. Maybe that doesn't quite fit, but why doesn't it fit? And why is it here? Look at the extraordinary, guys. Look at the out of the norm, and don't be afraid to pursue it a little bit. I'm not saying you're going to chase it down an actual rabbit hole. That'd probably be a stupid idea. I know a little bit about rabbits, and your face would get torn up pretty bad really quick if you stick it in a rabbit hole. But guys, follow the extraordinary and notice the extraordinary. They did a good job at the end of the movie. And, I hate sorry, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. They did a good job in the Disney movie because she's setting off a new adventure in her own world, and she sees a butterfly. She greets Absalom. Now, if you don't know who Absalom is a wise sage character archetype in the movie. One of the coolest things that Absalom says towards the end of the movie, because repeatedly he tells her she's not the Alice. She's not the right Alice. She's not the right Alice, because she spends the whole movie trying to remember everything she learned the first time she was in Wonderland. She spends the whole movie trying to get back to the person she was as a younger person. And Absalom over and over again has told her, you're not the right Alice. And then at the end, he's talking to her and she's like, you said it yourself. I'm not the right Alice. And he's like, well, stupid girl, who are you? And she very adamantly tells Absalom who she is. Exactly who she is. And he grins and he said, finally, Alice. And at the end, she greets him in passing because she's finally found who she is, because she wasn't afraid to embrace the extraordinary. In the movie, they talk about believing 6 impossible things or 7 impossible. Someone correct me in the comments. Guys, don't be afraid to chase the extraordinary. Look for it. Seek it. I'm not saying abandon everything you have to do. I'm not saying abandon your what's the right word? Your duties or, what you have to do. I'm saying seek the extraordinary. Open your eyes and imagine what you could be, what you want to be. Did you always want to do what you do now? Did you always want to be exactly who you are now, or did you have bigger dreams when you were younger? If you did, it's not too late to seek the extraordinary and become who you dreamt of being, guys. That's the whole reason I created this show. That's the whole reason I created The Fallible Man at all. It's never too late to start on the journey to become the person you always imagined you would be. To become the best version of yourself and achieve those dreams. It's never too late to start that journey. And guys, you won't do it if you let the world bog you down. So follow the white rabbit, back down the rabbit hole, guys. Embrace the crazy people and spend some time surrounded with people who see something more than you do. It's time to go back to Wonderland. Thanks for hanging out. Be better tomorrow because of what you do today.
This has been the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for everything man, husband, and father. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a show. Head over to www.thefallibleman.com for more content and get your own Fallible Man gear.